Good morning and welcome to another video. As you can probably see over my shoulder, I've come out down a small river. This is the Warwickshire Stour. I was hoping to get out perhaps on one of the other rivers I've got tickets for this year, either the Avon or the Alne. Unfortunately, a storm has arrived in the night. It was forecast, so not unexpected. The Avon is thick and brown and high. The Alne is flying up as it does. It's it's blowing an absolute gale, as you can probably hear. And it was supposed to be absolutely chucking it down with rain, although it hasn't been until, of course, the second I've got my fishing gear out, and now it started raining. So anyway, we're here now. We'll have a go. What I've done is I've come to this sort of wooded area, or slightly more wooded area of this stretch, just in hope of getting out of the wind, but slight miscalculation with this swim is we've got an absolute facer. But we'll have a go in here for 10 or 15 minutes, just see if there's anything about. This river is just starting to rise, but it had dropped off a lot more than the Avon. As I say, the Alne is very quick up and down, and it's come up far too quickly to be able to fish it this morning. It's come up overnight, but this river is it's on the up. It's at a level where normally it's quite clear, but it's actually quite coloured. It's quite sort of pale brown. It's like a very weak cup of tea. But we'll have a go in a few spots, I think, and put up with the weather as long as we can. If we drop right down the bottom of the stretch, then it may be that we can hunker down because we'll have the wind off our backs down there. But for now, we'll stick it out up here, get a feel for it, see what it's doing, see if we're going to get any bites or not, and then we'll play the weather by ear, I think, a little bit. What I've done, because it's relatively low, this river, and we've got sort of trees above us, is I bought my ultralight. I set this at 10 foot. I normally use my 12-foot rod to do this sort of thing, but I think 10 foot will be better today for getting out of the wind if we have to put the tip in the air, and also for noodling about under these trees. I've got 2 or 3 swims in here we can have a go at under the trees. Got on there reel wise a Dower, I think it's a Ninja, isn't it? Ninja 2000 size, nice little reel. Bait wise, it's got some mash bread to feed the swims. I've fed a few swims. I've mashed this up nice and stodgy so it stays where I put it. I do get asked fairly frequently about how to mash up bread. I'll link you in up there. You can go and have a look in the description below. I did a video of how I mashed this up just to get different consistencies. I've got some bread with me. I've got some worms, and I've got some cheese paste. So hopefully we can catch some perch. We can catch some chub. We can catch some nice roach. There's some nice roach in this stretch. Who knows? But I think that's probably enough. Oh, I've got some friends here. They shouldn't bother us. He's followed me around because he saw me baiting a swim up round there. Right, I think we'll get cracking before we get rained off. We'll have a go in here first. There's a bit of flow on that far side. There's a bit of a slack on the inside here. So we've got a swim with some fast water and some slacker water as well, which is often great in fish on the creek. Right, enough waffle. Let's crack on. So hopefully we can catch something. Make it worthwhile getting wet and muddy. Oh, it's like an absolute swamp everywhere. It's so wet at the moment, isn't it? God, it's crazy. So I'm just going to use these little Preston plug-it feeders that I like to use. Actually, well, keep that down now. I've got my adjustable running ledger rig on here. Can adjust the effective length of the hook link. Again, I'll stick you a link up there if you want to see how I tie this up. It's very easy to tie. And it just means that, as I say, you can adjust the distance between your hook and your feeder on the fly really, really quickly, really, really easily, without needing to change hook links. Now I'm hedging my bets a little bit here. I've got a hook on here that's size 12, I think. Size 12 specialist wide gate. We'll stick that on, and then if we come across any roach, hopefully it will be small enough that they can take it. It's a nice roach in this stretch. Right, with them 2 in there, we'll have to cast a bit further out. I'll cast over there, see what happens. See, there's plenty of depth in there to keep those 2 off the bait. We've got the ultralight on, so very, very light tip. So if we do get any bites, or as and when we get some bites, that tip should show it up very, very well. Can often be quite good when you hit a river on the way up. It can be tricky fishing if it's picking up lots of debris, and it can be impossible fishing if it's picked up, you know, a load of road salt or a load of agricultural runoff or something. I've just had a tap then already, so there's clearly something down there. Yeah, it can be very good or absolutely terrible. Time will tell. Obviously, you've had a load of cold water go in as well. It can be tough going. But that's not the case today. I think it's about 11 degrees. And it has been all night. Well, it's been raining. So it certainly won't be cold rain. The river temperature, I did the Avon a couple of days ago, and that was 9.8. So this rain shouldn't have chilled it. We'll have 10 minutes in here anyway, like I say, and we'll keep on our toes, keep on the move. I've baited a swim up there. I've never fished before, just had a little wander up. And a couple of swims a bit further down. It wouldn't surprise me if we caught a fish in every single swim we fish, and it wouldn't surprise me if we blank today, to be honest, and don't get a single bite. Could go either way. Absolute roll of the dice today. No, worryingly, that swim is absolutely dead. So, as I say, that doesn't bode well at all. But we can but try. Well, this swim's changed from literally half an hour ago when I baited it up. Definitely coming up fairly quickly, this river. There's still a few spots in here we can try. I baited up over there. It was fairly slack at the time. But not anymore. Properly starting to hack through. Right, it's a bit of a slack to the left here. A bit of sort of, well, I say slack, it's not particularly slack. Oh, it's very awkward to cast it out too. Blimey, these people sound very close all of a sudden. Persevering with the bread at the moment because it gives us a chance of roach as well. I think we have got a chance of some roach. Looking at the colour of the river, it's nicely coloured. Oh, that was a little dink of the feeder. Feeder just moved a little bit there. Just didn't look particularly natural. All right, we're in. Blimey, that was sudden. Well, fantastic. Very quick bite, just out of nowhere. I don't think it's massive. Feels like a chub. Wow, first bite. Wonderful. As I say, no monster, but very welcome. Well, he may only be a little one, but to be honest, that's a really good sign. Hopefully, for a couple of reasons really. Hopefully that means they're on the feed and we are going to get some bites. I was just sitting here, just spitting with rain, and I was thinking, oh, what am I doing? What are you doing this for? 3 swims down, we've not had a bite. This is the 4th. I just thought, perhaps I should give it best. As I say, it's starting to rain. And then over it went. Fantastic. I think we'll keep him in the net down here for a few minutes. We'll have another go in here. And this swim's usually good for a bite or two. Although it's usually a lot different to this. But the other good news is, I was going to mention, he absolutely troughed that bit of bread. He was, he'd properly taken it down, so he was certainly very hungry, is the point I'm trying to make. He was certainly up for a feed, and that can only be a really good sign, I think. Right, with that, we'll persevere. I think once we've done this swim, I've got one baited just round the corner, but they're all much more open swims. The rest of the swims we could do in here, as far as trees go. I think I'm going to switch over to my my Dower Power Mesh 12 foot. £1.25 test curve rod. Sorry, I'm just concentrating on what I was doing, trying to get this, not to get this in the boiling water. I think we'll switch over to that. It's a lot stiffer than this. It's got a sort of 1.5 inch quiver tip in as well. It won't be bouncing around in the wind like this one will if we go downstream. Some of the swims will need to get the rod really high in the air as well. Obviously that's going to put it in the wind. I think this thing's just going to be doing that. It's so soft. A lovely rod. But with this river coming up, as I say, and the wind, you certainly do with a little bit of extra, couple of extra foot top of the rod. All right. That looked like a little bit of interest again. We'll have another 10 minutes in here though. There's usually a few fish in here. I'm fishing, so you can see, I'm fishing in that sort of, by those snags there, and that raft. There's a little bit of slack just downstream of it. And I'm just dropping the bait into there. You can see better from that side, but you're also going to get a face full of rain over there. Because although it's not raining at the moment, the air's full of it. It's very drizzly. Nice little spot down there. Looks like it's got some a bit sort of slightly slacker water under that branch that's sticking out. Probably worth dropping a bait under there. We'll have this cast in here and we'll perhaps drop a bait down there. It looks like a nice spot. A bit of flow going under it, but it doesn't look too boily or too fast. Tucked in right into the edge. That's the place to fish in here, over there under that big fallen tree. That raft's all collected. I don't think we'll get a bait over there though. Well, we'll get one over there. I don't think we'll hold. Let's have a little cast down there anyway, just to see what's going on. I think that's as close as we want to go. Right, let's see if that does anything for 5 minutes. So it looks as a nice spot for a minute, and then it all starts to boil up, so I think it's probably not going to be the one. You never know. Suddenly the rod wraps round. Hopefully. Alright. That was a proper rattle, wasn't it? Just stood up resting my legs. Yeah, it's a proper rattles down there. Sitting on my hands a little bit because this, like I say, this tip is very, very light. So what looks like a big pull is not necessarily a massive pull. There's certainly something going on. There you go, see, should have left it. I'm on. What have we got here? Is it a little chub? Or is it a roach? A little chub by the way it's going for the edge. No, it isn't, it's a roach. Oh, that's a nice roach. What was I saying about roach? Oh, that's a nice one. Cracking. Oh, it's a funny bite for a chub. Well, no monster, but out of a tiny, tiny little river. That's cracking. Wonderful. Glad I came out now. Right, I can't imagine he's going to be down there on his own, is he? You can get down there with Mr. Chub. We'll see. We can winkle another one out. If the roach are feeding, there is a chance of a big one as well. I've had over £1.5 pound out of this river, believe it or not. Some good ones around. Just catching it right, you don't catch them very often. This sort of fishing really, to me, it's just about nicking a bite. You know, locate a likely looking area, like I say, under that tree, or this bit of slack here next to this snag. We'll have just this cast down there. It's usually, you catch one fish, you nick a bite from somewhere, and then you move on. It's always worth one more cast just to see if there are other fish there, or if you're not spooked them perhaps. There's nothing else happening down there at the moment. We'll have one more cast, I think, across here, in this little bit of slack next to this snag and this raft and this fallen tree. And then we'll call it a day, I think. We're going, I think, brave, the bottom of the stretch. This rain is holding off just about. It is doing its absolute utmost to rain. Keep getting hit in the face with a big drop of rain. But it's not raining as such, just drizzle. But the good thing is it's keeping the light levels low. And with this river having coloured up as well, that's really the reason I came out, knowing that the Avon and the Alne were just completely out of action today. Well, unless you want to put a 5-ounce feeder on. Right, I'm going to call it a day here. Let's have another quick look at these fellas before we put them back. How's about that? Lovely brace from this swim. Fantastic. Right, let's get them back. Off you go. Right, as I say, I'm going to go switch rods. We'll go past the car anyway. I'll grab my other rod. It will be much more suitable for downstream. Right. Big pool in the middle of the stretch. We'll get a bit of bait in here and we'll come back. God, there's some debris coming down this river now. Put a bit of mash in there. Slack on the inside and a slack on the far side. There we go. That's better. Right. We have got the wind off our back here, which is good. We'll get a little bit further down. I think this is probably our best bet for a bite, so we'll leave this for perhaps half an hour, 45 minutes. We'll have a wander further downstream. Right, we'll do the same in this one as well. God, this weather's really turned. Bit of a slack over there. Just a little bit in there, just get them rummaging about. I'm going to have a little look a bit further downstream. I don't tend to go much further downstream than this, but I'm going to have a look today what we can find. Right, I'm going to call this the last swim. Firstly, because it's probably our best bet with that slack over there, that slack over there. And secondly, because this is getting a bit silly now, to be honest. I'm far from a fair weather angler, but it gets to a point where it's just not really very enjoyable anymore. And I've done at least 4 swims now since we had those fish. And I've had little rattly, tappy bites in a couple of them, but in the others, nothing at all. So they're clearly not that on it, the fish anyway. I'm having to hold the rod just to feel the bites because I can't see it because the rod's bouncing around so much. But as we've baited up in here, we'll give it a go. This weather's certainly set in now. There we go. But it's got to be worth, well, I was going to say 5 or 10 minutes in here, but to be fair, there's a BT bloke over there, Paul. And if he can cope, then I think I can. So we'll give it perhaps 10 minutes over there, 10 minutes down here, and see what happens. Shouldn't take too long to get a bite, as we've baited up already. Could do with getting my rod up much higher than this, really, to get my line out of the water, out of the current, which is under our feet. But the higher I get it, the more it gets affected by the wind, unfortunately. Aye, aye. Oh, that was a proper thump. I felt it. Bang. Well, that gives me a bit of confidence. Proper bang. Should have left it really, but it was just instinct. I felt it thump and struck. Well, that's a good sign. Right, and again, another proper thump. And again. Oh, I missed that. Well, someone's over there and they're very hungry. 2 lovely bites. Right, come on. And again, gotta get some right thumps. I'm sure you can see that. Real sharp yank on it. And again, and again. What this is? Let's have another cast. I think we've probably been mugged. We have. Yeah, real snatchy, yanky bites. Well, as I'm sure you can see. It's really snatching at it. It's not the best trying to put bread on with soaking wet hands. Right. Hopefully it's something nice. Something decent, not a little chublet or something. Fingers crossed. Nice big roach. I think the bites are a bit too snatchy for it to be a nice big roach. There. Oh! It was on, and then it was off. I just felt a little thump then. That is very frustrating. After fishing there all that time. Oh. Just felt a little thump, and then it was off. Well, we've had a couple of thumps again over there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down the inside here for 10 minutes. Give that a bit of a rest over there. Let them chill out. Have a bit of free nosh. And see if there's anything doing down the inside here. No, doesn't seem like there's anything going on down this inside edge, down this inside slack. I think what I'm going to do is put a bigger feeder on, biggest feeder I've got, or I should say the heaviest feeder I've got for fishing over there. I'll go back over there for 10 or 15 minutes on a really, really heavy feeder. See what I've got. If I've got anything really heavy. It's relatively heavy. Right, I'm going to take that 1.5 feeder off. I'm going to put 2 ounce on, which is the heaviest I've got with me. Just to try and grip over there. Whilst also having the rod not quite so high as we had it a minute ago. So hopefully we can see the bites a bit easier. That's my thinking. I do suspect a lot of these bites are smaller fish, but I also suspect there's some bigger fish in and amongst them. With the rod up in the wind, there's lots of the line out in the wind as well. And it's just every time the wind blows, it's just catching. We'll go a bit lower this time. Well, obviously we're going to be more in the current, which means we're more likely to get wiped out, and the feeder to move, I'll have to just suck it and see, really. Well, we give it 10 minutes rest, that swim, with no feed going in. Alright, there you go, look. There we go. First cast. It feels quite dogged. Well, first cast back in. So resting it up did the trick. I think it must be a chub. This looks like a decent one as well. That is a decent one from this stretch. Wow, wonderful. That's me getting soaked. Well worth it. Well, that's about that. Fantastic stuff. Lovely fish from this stretch. That's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. But we'll give it another 10 minutes. I'm wondering if some of those other bites perhaps were roach. So we'll get this fella in the edge down here. Rest him up down there. I'll make sure he's alright first. There he is. That's it. Fantastic. Wonderful. Right. Can we have another one? Can we have a nice roach? We'll give it 10 minutes. No, that's it. It's gone very quiet in here. And I don't mind sitting around if we're getting bites, but we're not. So that's that. I'm going to call it a day there. That's been thoroughly enjoyable, thoroughly drenched, and thoroughly enjoyable. Right, we'll get this fella back. If he hasn't let himself out. No, he hasn't. There he is. Off we go, chap. Gone. Fantastic. So a very enjoyable 3 hours or so down here, but yeah, I've enjoyed that aside from the wind and rain. But I know what I was in for when I came out, and yeah, we've winkled a few fish out, and I just wanted to make the most of conditions really before the rivers got up. Tomorrow they're all going to be really high and unfishable for certainly several days. So I'm not sure when I will be out next, but I shall be getting out as soon as possible. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your fantastic support, and I'll see you all again when it's a little bit drier.